All right, we are here with Ryan Jensen, man. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm
Good
great, man.
morning.
Thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely.
I
Thanks for having
appreciate,
me on.
yeah, I appreciate you reaching out on my call just to talk to other guys in the industry. And I checked out what you do, and it seems like you guys do some cool stuff. So, tell me a little bit about your business and what you guys do.
We're a small welding fabrication company located in San Diego, California. We used to do a lot of sanitary welding. We specialized in brewing process piping. We
Hmm.
have now the industry has kind of died down a lot here in San Diego. It was so saturated for a while.
Mm.
It just couldn't sustain itself. So we kind of transitioned into more industrial and commercial style work. And we do a lot of stainless steel pipe. That's kind of where my background is a little bit.
Okay.
And, you know, we've been rolling with that now for quite some time.
How many guys you got in your shop?
There's three of us in the shop. We have a guy that comes in part time every once in a while to help out, getting things done if we need them.
Okay. You guys, so is it all in house, or do you go install your work too? Or tell me a little bit about that.
That depends. We will go install stuff. Usually it's more like rig welding. We'll go out and a customer or contractor says, "Hey, can you guys weld this for us?" Absolutely. A lot of our piping assemblies we don't install that we build in the shop. We ship them out and they go to different places.
Mm.
But if we do like a pipeline or process piping, sometimes we'll do some prefab and then go install it and do the rest on site.
Nice, very cool. Do you so you have do you have one mobile rig? Do you have a trailer? Like, what do you work out of?
We have a service truck with a welder in the back, and it has
Cool.
all of our tools and things like that with lead reels. We have another one. One of my guys has his own truck as well. It's set up very similar. So if we need two trucks, we can do that.
Nice.
Um, and then we have an old SA 200 that we completely stripped and restored.
Heck
And
yeah.
then I'll throw that in the back of my personal truck if we need another one. And
Heck
so
yeah.
we, kind of that. And
Nice, dude. Well, tell me how you got started. How did this all come about? How long you been in business, and just give me the story from where you started.
all right, I've been welding for about 22 years. Uh, kind of started out. I got a golf cart one time with a street bike motor in it and wanted to kind of get that going. And I went and my mom had a friend and that owned a tube bending shop. She goes, he'll be able to help you. And I'd never welded, never done any of this stuff before. So went over to him and asked him if he'd help. And he kind of was like, you need to get rid of this. This is a death trap. So he goes, I will not help you put this together. And
You're fine. I'll do
so
it myself.
yeah, exactly. And then I walked into the shop and I was just immediately impressed. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to learn how to do this kind of work. So he kind of brought me in, taught me how to weld. Started doing that. And then like 2008 or so, the, uh, the crash kind of happened and we had some bad contracts at that time. So I left and I went to a mechanical contracting company asking, hey, you guys need any welders? I know how to weld. And they're like, you know how to weld pipe? And I'm like, oh, I can weld anything. Like everybody says. And they're like, okay, here's a weld test. And I was like, oh, okay, I've
Oh
never done a weld test
crap.
before. So went and did that. And he says like, you know what? You didn't quite pass the weld test, but you bring you in as a helper kind of a thing and we'll train you how to weld pipe. He said, all right. So did that and worked for that company for quite some time and went down to the shipyard, spent a lot of time in the shipyards, like at a processing plant down there in National City. And they had to do a ton of stainless pipe there. And they kind of threw me to the wolves and was like, hey, here you go, figure it out.
Mm.
And so I did and tried. And we worked so much down there. There's so many miles of pipe through that plant. We did that. Then that company started going downhill, and I applied at a large industrial fabrication company up here in North County, San Diego, and applied there actually like three times.
Mm.
And um, the the first couple times that I applied, they kind of like blew me off, and then they started actually sending work to the company that I worked with
Hmm.
at the time, and I started working closely with the shop superintendent hand in hand, and he finally called me up one day and said, "Hey, do you want to come work for us?" And I was like, "Are you going to hire me this time? This will be the third time." He goes, "Yeah, come in, just come in and do a weld test so I can give it to the owners." So I showed up to the shop in my service truck from the other company, and the owner of my company that I was currently working for was there bidding work. And I was like, "Oh no." So I parked around back and I just hoped he didn't walk through the shop. And I sat there for about 2 hours. I'm like, he gave me an aluminum weld test, and I'd never done aluminum. So started practicing, and I got the aluminum down. He goes, "All right, let me go take to the owners," and hired me right there.
Wow.
So then I went to work for them. I ran that for a little while, and then a couple weeks into working for that company, part of the products that they had outsourced to the company I was working for, the mechanical contracting company, was a bunch of stainless pipe, which I didn't work on. So come to find out, they didn't do it to X-ray quality standards. So when that got found out, it was this big ordeal. Well, my old company had sent my certs to my new company. And so I got called in the office, only been there, 2 weeks as a temp. And they're like, "Hey, did you weld this?" And I said, "No." Like, "Well, they sent certs." And I was like, "Well, I don't know." And then come to find out, they just sent everybody in the company's certs. So I was like, "Oh man." And he's like, "Well, you're gonna make this right." So we sat there and redid all of it in-house. It took us probably 2 months worth of work, 7 days a week, to redo all this pipe to X-ray standards. And we did that. And that kind of was gained a lot of respect, I think, at that point.
Sure.
From a lot of the people. And then worked there for about 8 years, became a lead welder there. I also got my CWI in that time frame. But while I was there, my wife, we had 2 kids, and she quit working. So we were a single income family, and we needed, some extra cash flow. So I really enjoyed the brewing industry. I don't know how to brew beer. I can't make beer, but I can fix the equipment.
Sure.
So I was like, how do I get into this?
So I want to be around beer.
Exactly. I like building the connections with people, and it was a ton of fun. And so in 2014, I started, I'm going to start my own welding business. And, I had a Honda generator and a Maxstar, and I was like, I can do stainless pipe with this. And that didn't work out so well. So end up buying a Lincoln Square Wave TIG 200, and I can go to the breweries, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's very simple, but it's been an awesome machine. Runs 110, 220.
Yep. I've got one in the shop, and it's just a workhorse, man. We've burned up so many torches on that thing, and it just keeps on ticking, man. Like there's the only complaint I would say is that you can't adjust your post flow on it. And you blow through a lot of gas because it's set at like a 9-second post flow.
Yeah.
But like other than that thing is like a monster.
Yeah, it's been a great machine. We haven't had any problems with it at all. I've had it for 12 years now.
Yeah.
So, and I've had problems with not all of them, but a couple of my other machines. But that one just keeps going. Yeah. And we do a ton of mobile work with it, and it's just been. And for the price at the time was, it beat the Dynasty price wise.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
But so that was like our first machine that I had bought, and we started getting into some of the like tap handles and stuff like that. There's some stainless tap handles that we started doing. That was like my real first big project. So I thought at the time, and we'd have them laser cut, and then I'd weld the bosses onto them, and we started doing it in my garage, and we'd have the neighbors over there helping clean them, and I'd be sitting there welding, and my wife was packaging them up, and we did that for a little while, and that was our extra money. And then in working at this large fabrication company, I met somebody that had come from the brewing industry, and so he had some contacts, and he knew a little bit more of the ins and outs of the equipment. And so I brought him in and said, "Hey, do you want to help with some side work? Maybe we can get some more money coming in." And he said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so we did a couple projects, and one of our first big projects was a brewery came to us, and they had bought the fire truck brewery off of Monster Garage.
Oh
with Jesse
yeah.
James. And so they had the brewing equipment and they're like, hey, we want it to look like it was in the TV show, but in our brewery, minus the fire truck. And I was like, okay, yeah, we could do that. So we took that on and we put it all together for them. And they're like, hey, can you build this for us? So we built a keg washer and posted it online. And there's another larger company in the area that specialized in fabrication, building all these brew houses, all this brewing equipment. Well, they saw it and they didn't like that we were building it. And because he had come from that company, you know, years ago, they said we had proprietary information, which, you know, it's a keg washer. It can only be so many different ways, looks
Yeah.
so many different ways. So they sent us a cease and desist and we had to go to court and like, we'd send pictures and stuff. Hey, we didn't copy any of your stuff. Like, you know, sorry, it's similar. It's stainless. It washes kegs. Like
Yeah.
what it has valves and
Yeah.
it had tanks. You know, and that brewery ended up giving us their lawyer's name, and she was already in a lawsuit with another brewery against this company. So she's like, "Oh, I'll take this on for you."
Oh yeah.
But it was just they had so much more money than we did. It just went back and forth, like letters after letters after letters, and like they just drained us, like
Wow.
financially, just completely took all our money, all the profit we got from the few jobs we had been working on. So I ended up dissolving that LLC and that welding company, and me and that other guy parted ways. And at that time, I had a large mechanical contracting company contact me, ask me to come weld pipe for them. So I go, okay, you know, I just dissolved that LLC, you know, I'll just go do this again. And then, so I did that for about 8 months, and that was probably about in 2018, 2019 timeframe. And then after that 8 months, he got super slow. And I was like, uh-oh, you know, I still got to support my family and do all this stuff. So I'm going to start Jensen specialty welding.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to start going after the side work because I was good at getting the connections and getting work coming in. And that kind of just took off. And I ended up not working for that other company and just kind of working on my own and throughout COVID and it turned into what it is today. And it was the best decision I ever did was leave those bigger companies and start my own thing.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So since you started your company and broke out from those other bigger companies, what would you say is your biggest breakthrough in your business early on? Like what was the aha moment where you're like, dang, this will actually work?
That's a great question. I don't know if there's any one in particular.
Mm.
I think during COVID, we had one brewery that really kept us busy a lot. And they just kind of was like, hey, if you need the work, you know, come do some maintenance and come do this because we're not open. You can come in and do all of this. And then they just kept me going. And that's when I was like, you know what, this might work full time.
Nice.
And just, they also, because they were very large, they had a lot of contacts. So they would throw my name out to other people, and those people threw my name out to other people and so on. And just word of mouth got out there, and then they knew that I was working. So
nice. So you started your Jensen specialty welding in what, 2019-ish?
2019-ish is when I started this part of it.
Okay. What would you say were the 3 biggest challenges to growing your business to where it is today?
Number one definitely was income, like financials of it. Being able to buy materials. That was probably my hardest thing to overcome because we just started with nothing, you know, we started it as side work to make extra money. The next was finding customers that, you know, would work with us because we were so small. So, you know, we didn't have, you know, a 10-man crew to do a lot of stuff. So those kind of things. And I guess the business part of it, knowing what to actually be able to do, what can I do and what should I be doing?
Sure.
You know, how do you send estimates? How do you do this? Figuring that kind of the business, insurances, you know, those kind of things where you don't know about it until someone's like, hey, what insurance do you have? And you're like, yeah, I got, you know, whatever.
Sure, I got insurance. Like,
Yeah. And so
Geico.
that was, luckily we got taken care of all of that. And that's,
Yeah. So, like, how did you? So, let's walk through each of those. With the buying materials and the income, like, how did you overcome that? Like, did you use credit cards? Did you like just ask for deposits? Did like walk me through how like the buying material part of things like went for you?
in the beginning, so still we don't have any debt. We don't have, I mean, we have a business credit card that, we put stuff on, but for the most part, we didn't take no loans out. We don't do any of that. We just keep building it. But in the beginning, I would ask for deposits, depending, hey, I need it, whatever it may be, a material deposit down and labor after. And a lot of people were okay with that.
Okay.
So, and then in the very beginning too, we would have customers buy the material. Hey, would you guys supply the material? We'll come in and be like basically a rig welder, and we'll just weld it and fabricate it. And they like that too. Because the customer saves money. You don't add your upcharge on it.
Yeah. Interesting. So how did you overcome the getting the work thing? Like, it sounds like a lot of how you grew was word of mouth.
That's exactly how we grew. I've never advertised. I did the Instagram thing a little bit, but that never really brought any real work in. So it was all word of mouth. I like sitting down and having conversations and connecting with the customers. And I think, we end up becoming friends, and they're like, hey, I want to help this person out. So they did that. And now it's kind of how we got the work. I did some cold calling that didn't really seem to be all that beneficial.
Interesting. So like, do you ask them for references, or is it just something like when it comes up in conversation, they're like, oh, this is my buddy, this is who you go to?
That's pretty much how it goes.
Okay.
I've never asked anyone, hey, throw my name out to this person or anything like that. It's always been, hey, if you need something welded, this is who you want to go to.
Gotcha. So. Interesting. So as you grew, like, do you do all the business part of things? Do you have an accountant? Do you have somebody who estimates for you? Or is it kind of all just on you? And what other what team structure do you have around you, if any, that kind of like that you work with right now?
So on the business end of it is just me, for the most part. We do a lot of prevailing wage and projects like that. So we have certified payroll ladies that do all of our compliance and that things of that nature. That we actually have two different ones. One is for federal and one for public works.
Okay.
The other one just didn't want, and the reason that was because the one lady didn't want to learn, the LCV tracker or whatever it may be portion of the federal one that they were using at the time. So I found another one. So we just kind of keep it that way, which kind of gets a little messy, but they do a great job of taking care of all of their compliance. And then I do all the other business. I do all of our estimating. We have a guy in our shops, our main guy. He kind of runs the things that are going through the shop and guides the shop part of it. And then he kind of just takes care of that. And then he goes out in the field every once in a while with us.
Kind of like your right hand man.
Yeah. He's been there. He's been with us for, I think, since 21. And he called me. He wanted side work. And that's pretty funny. He called me up. Hey, do you have any side work I can help you with? And I was like, yeah. Shortly after that, it turned full time. So
that's the way it goes, man.
Yeah.
How did you learn the business side of things then? Like, was it just like I feel like for a lot of us, it's just trial by fire. You stumble through it, and then you hear a word that you don't know, and you just go Google, what is this?
That's absolutely exactly how I did it. I didn't know anything about business. I never went to school for welding or business or anything like that. I all self-taught on the welding side of it, and I'm self-teaching myself on the business part of it. I ask a lot of questions, and I bite off more than I can chew most times, and then I learn how to chew. And when I get into a situation, I remember my first prevailing wage job that we brought in. They're like, "Can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got a DIR number." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And so then they're asking me for all these forms, and I'm like, "I don't know what this is." So I have friends that own other businesses, and I ask them, "Hey, you guys do a lot of this, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I go, "This is a situation." They're like, "Oh man, let me connect you with this person. We'll walk you through it." And then it's always been stumbling through it.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Google and YouTube.
yep, exactly. And lots of like stressful nights where you're like, I don't know how to get through this.
Yeah. No, I've been there too, man. I know exactly what you mean. um, what has been the hardest thing for you to learn in business?
One of the hardest things for me probably is uh, saying no and time management. Like
Okay.
I like to help, and like someone comes through the door and they want something little done, or they have a phone call and, "Hey, can you fix this?" And you're like, "Yeah, I can, but I probably shouldn't." And it ends up being more headache than it's worth. And
Yeah.
then you're like, "Man, you don't want to pay me our hourly shop rate to fix this little broken chair," kind of a thing. And I need to say no to those things, and just hard.
Yeah. Do you say no to them, or do you just take it
I'm
and
getting
just go
better at
with
it.
Okay.
We're getting better at it.
Sometimes you say no.
Yeah.
More often.
I've gotten good at saying no to the fences and gates and
Mm,
things of that nature. I just,
sure.
the repairs of stuff like that, just, we can't make any money doing that kind of stuff. There's
Yeah.
others out there that are a lot better than we are at that style work.
Sure. Do you just
So,
do you straight up say no, or do you have a guy that you send them to?
um, there was a company a little while ago that I would recommend. But now I just say, you know what, I apologize, I just can't do it.
Mm,
It's just not what we do.
sure.
So,
Yeah. We tend to just push the work to somebody else.
yeah,
Like right now, like we're at a stage where we just if it's not if you're not a current customer, I'm probably not interested in working with you.
yeah,
And I don't say that to brag, but it's the reality of it. Like I've started this business. When I first started the business, I only wanted to work with good clients. That's it. Like I politely fired a lot of clients or customers throughout the year, throughout the years. And now we're at a point where it's just um, we have the people who we really like to work with, and they don't balk on price. They are happy with everything, and a lot of it's repeat work. Like, not, I would say maybe like a quarter to a third of it is just like, hey, we have like we don't advertise that we do part work, like just making parts, but like we have a couple of things that we make for other companies where like we are their go-to people, and there's good margins in it. We are set up to do it. We have all the tooling and equipment, and it just works out really well that way,
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but everything else is kind of just like, you know what? Here's my like call this guy, call this guy. Like we don't do signs. I'm like, call this guy. We don't do this. Call this guy. Like, and I just help my buddies out.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, everyone, there's enough work to go around. So
Yeah, like they're all
it just
like it's
gets,
not competition out there. It's just like we'll all just help each other out.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we've never really fired a customer per se. We've had a couple projects like we did this one where it's a stainless steel nipple that we friction drill a hole in it, and then we tap it so they can thread sensors into it for water systems.
Mm.
And they're asking us to assemble them into valves as well. And it was just, and they were so particular about scratches and marring, but they wanted that um, port to be, orientated just right on that where in the valve. And then the way you thread a nipple into a valve, it's not always necessarily going to line up in the same spot every time. And
Yeah.
and they would get upset with it. And so for the money, we just kind of told them, hey, we're not going to do this anymore.
Mm.
And so we said, we can't do this. We apologize. You know, you have to find someone else. Well, they came back and like, well, can you at least just still do the drilling and stuff for us? And we're like, okay. So we
Your
still
price is
can't
gonna go
redo
up.
those. Yeah. We're keeping the same price. We're doing half the work. And like, we tell them it's a fill-in job. We'll get it done when we can. It's, you know, and so that's kind of how we did that. But they keep coming back and we keep doing it for them. So
Nice. I know with any business owner and being in business for long enough, you consider hanging it up and you're like, is it really worth it? Have you ever considered actually just like giving it up and going back to like a quote unquote real job? Or is it just something that you just never got to that point yet?
oh, I get to that point every day. Every day I'm like, how did I get here? What? You know, all I wanted was make a couple extra bucks, and now look at what we're doing. But yeah, I've thought about it a couple times, just going, man, I don't know if this is something I want to continue doing. But then I look at it and go, if I went back to work for somebody else, I would just be looking, going, I could have done that. Like I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no reason that I couldn't be in that guy's situation. Like why am I working for somebody when I was doing the same exact thing? Now I'm just somebody that just goes home and forgets about it at the end of the day, which, you know, I don't know what I'd do with my time then. But,
more Facebook and Instagram time.
yeah, exactly. So, but I don't know what I would do if I wasn't doing this. Mm-hmm. So
so what's your approach to like growing your team and keeping them happy with in your business?
I guess at this point, we kind of keep it as like a personal relationship, they're not just numbers. Mm-hmm. It's a family. Like, you know, we kind of keep it kind of lax. It's not super hardcore where it's like, hey, this is how it is. I kind of take their, you know, opinion and into consideration when it comes to things. I ask them questions like, hey, what do you think? How would you do this? Would you want to do it different? If you want to do it different, you know, let me know. If you have any concerns, let us know. If you see something that we're doing wrong, say it. And we kind of do that. We used to barbecue every Friday when we were in the shop, you know, and hey, you know, we'll work a half day and we'll just barbecue the rest of the day.
That's awesome.
So that was a lot of fun. We did that for years, and we haven't done it. Now we're splitting off into some people are in the field and someone's in the shop, so it's not all on a Friday.
Gotcha, man. That sounds good. Like we've had times. So like we used to have like monthly team meetings, and it would be like on a Friday, and we'd buy everybody lunch. It would be like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and blah blah blah. But like the barbecue thing sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's cheap and it works out good. All we do is go down to the local grocery store and whatever's on sale was the protein, whether it's chicken or pork, and barbecue that and get some vegetables and a salad and
That's awesome.
It comes out cheap and it's cheaper than going out and buying.
Heck yeah.
And we could barbecue every Friday for the month and it was cheaper than going out to eat for, you know, taking everybody to eat one time.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
And everybody enjoys it.
Yeah. And you're in California, so it's like nice weather all the time. So
pretty much, yeah. We like the rain every once in a while, but it's sunny. Like right now, yesterday was 85 degrees, so it's sunny.
It's I think it's 13 degrees here, and we just got over like a 16-inch snowstorm. So you can go pound sand.
Yeah, I might.
Damn.
Might just head to the beach after this.
I'm going to show him. I'm going to go show Kevin when we go pound sand.
Exactly. Send you a picture.
Yeah, right. I appreciate that, man. Thanks. Yeah. So you said that you try to keep your employee relationship like a friend thing. Like, where do you hire from? Or do you just hire friends, or do you like where do you get your guys from?
A lot of it's word of mouth. So we try to, our main right-hand man, he was a previous coworker of mine. So, and he's been there ever since. Mostly it's just word of mouth. Hey, I got this guy, we need help. And somebody will say, hey, I know somebody. Our latest hire, I posted on Indeed and put it out there for a little while. But searching through everybody was hard. And our newest hire, he actually figured out who we were, did the research, called me up and personally sent me his resume on top of, doing it through Indeed. So that really stood out.
Yeah.
And I did that, but usually it's just word of mouth.
Yeah. That makes a huge difference. Like the people who so when we would hire from Indeed, the people who I paid attention to were the people who actually like called me after they submitted their resume or they sent me an email. So I even had a few people just stop into the shop. They're like, hey, I saw you were hiring, just wanted to come in and shake your hand. I was like, oh, okay. I'll actually go look at your resume now.
Yeah, absolutely. And like our newest hire, he's a great kid. He's young, 19. He's very ambitious. He's the one that I said that I posted on Indeed. He replied there, figured out who we were, personally called me. Can I send you my resume? I said, yeah, absolutely. I go, when can you come in for an interview? He said, I'm working in Nebraska. And I go, okay. And he goes, I live at, 3 hours away from where you're working. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I don't know how he's going to drive every day 3 hours to where we work.
Yeah.
And so I go, when can you come for an interview? And he told me, he goes, I'll come back in to the town on this day. And it was like a week away. I said, all right, be at my shop at 9:00 in the morning. And he's okay. So that day came. He was here at 8:30 in the morning, ready to go. And he goes, I just drove in from Nebraska last night. I'm like, you just got in last night? He goes, yep. And I'm like, geez. And so gave him a weld test, and he was nervous as could be. We're big into the stainless pipe. We need a lot of stainless pipe welders. Well, he's young, fresh out of welding school. So I'm like, I can train you how to weld. Your work ethic, being here early, putting that work to find out who we were and to call me, that's what you can't train.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, I'm going to give you a shot. And, he's been working out pretty good. He's learning a lot, and I hope he likes it. So
nice. So Indeed actually worked out for somebody.
It worked out. I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah.
I did get a lot of resumes. Everybody's a welder. Like you look at some of the resumes you get and you're like, everyone's a welder.
Yeah. And they're the best welder. Like if you talk to them on the phone, they're God's gift to the welding world. They're like,
oh yeah. You're like, man, it's one of those jokes. Everyone's a welder until it comes time to do welding stuff.
Until the weld test.
It's so true. And like on a stainless pipe's not an easy thing to do. And all of our stuff's X-rayed. So, I have a lot of people, do you know how to weld stainless pipe? No, but I can learn. And you're like, yeah, but I need you to be able to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Do you guys do the X-ray in-house, or do you have somebody come to you, or does it get shipped to them, or how's that work?
we take it to a third party.
Okay.
And they're maybe 45 minutes away.
Okay.
So we just drive it down there, they X-ray it, and we pick it back up.
Interesting.
And unless it's in the field, then they come out and X-ray. But most of the time, it's the piping assemblies that we do. They're small enough that we can do them in-house and then take them and ship them out to them.
On a truck and bring them down.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You said you've got a family. So how does that, tell me about the juggling of the business and the family life and the struggles with that.
Well, that's quite that question. My wife is actually my old boss's daughter. So I was working for him, and that's how I met her. Right. So he's a longtime welder as well. So he's always been busy. She's grown up in that, we're always busy. We're always working, overtime, that kind of stuff. So she already knows what to expect. Mm-hmm. So that's hard. My kids, I try not to miss any of their sports or anything to do that. So going back and forth, I always make time to do that. I always put my family first, and then, work is second. But I might, in between those things, do some emails or things, or we have to go to a travel baseball game, bring my laptop and I'll work off my computer.
Yeah.
Things like that. But I just try to spend as much time with both, but they all have grown up with it. So.
Okay. Yeah. The old like, hey babe, can you drive while I send out invoices on our way to whatever we're doing? You know?
Yeah, pretty much. I bring my laptop. We go on camping trips. I got my laptop. Hold on, we got to go find where I got internet real quick so I can do some estimates and get stuff out.
Yep.
I got to order materials for when we get back, and
Yep.
and they've been completely understanding, and I couldn't ask for anything else.
Sounds like you got that pretty handled, because I struggled with that for a long, long time, of like that work-life balance of like, not coming home and taking the stress out on the family, and just trying to, like, I don't feel like there ever was a balance with me. It was like one or the other. And then
Yeah,
when I like leaned too far onto the family side of things, I got frustrated, and like I just had anxiety because I wasn't doing what I needed to do, or at least I felt like I wasn't doing what I needed to do on the business side. And then I was like, no, I have to go back over here, and I have to check my email, and I have to do this and send this out. Even like, yeah, it could have waited till Monday. It didn't have to be a Saturday afternoon. It's really okay.
yeah. I don't know if I've necessarily figured it out, but I still do that. Like last night, is funny you say that. Is my family enjoys kind of what we've built. It's part of them as well. So last night we were shipping some pipes assemblies out, and the first truck that showed up yesterday was late, or I mean, it was too small. So they called for another truck because our pallets were so big. And my wife was asking, "Hey, what are we doing for dinner?" I'm like, "Well, I'm waiting at the shop until I got to wait for the truck to come pick these pipes up. I have to get them out tonight. I have to." And so she goes, "Okay, well, I'll go to the store and get stuff. We'll barbecue at home." It's all right. And then we were sitting here, and one of my other guys is here with us, and he goes, "Why don't we just barbecue some carne asada tonight at the shop? Have your wife and kids come to the shop. We'll just barbecue while we're waiting for the truck." So that's what we did. My wife brought everything to the shop. We have a barbecue here, so we cooked last night while we're waiting for the truck, and the truck didn't show up till almost 8 o'clock last night. So they all came, and they were on the computer watching TV and hanging out and
Nice.
kind of messing around. I pay my daughter to clean the office and the bathrooms and stuff every week, so
Really?
she enjoys coming to the shop, and because she gets to make some money as well.
That's awesome, man.
So we kind of just include them in the things that we do, so it's not like a separate life.
How far away is your shop from your house?
It's about 25 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No, and there's two ways to get here. You can go through the city and get on the freeway, but that'll probably take 30 minutes, 35.
Mm.
But there's a back way in through the mountains,
Mm.
if you will, hills more or less.
Yeah.
That isn't as busy. It's a better scenic drive, anyways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your shop is on your property, correct?
No. So I have a property that's in like in 55 minutes from my actual house.
Oh, okay.
So my drive is 55 minutes each way, and
Oh, man.
it's been rough for the last 10 years, 11 years. It's been yeah, it's been rough to say that. And like we've tried to do things like my wife came and she was working in like doing office work, so we bought a job trailer for her to do that. And then our kids, we decided to not put them in. Like we tried the daycare thing, and it just didn't work out at all. Like it was just a
Yeah.
terrible experience for especially our son. And like they're always sick and this and that. And we wanted to homeschool, so we decided to homeschool. And we would have like somebody come in and like teach them in the morning. Like so, I bought a trailer, like a medical testing facility trailer that they like bring to you. They do like hearing testing and stuff. So we turned that into like their schoolroom, and they would just go in there, do school, they take naps, and then but my wife's like assistant would like spend time with them, help them do the schoolwork, put them down for a nap, and then they would switch off in the afternoon. And like my wife would spend time and do more schoolwork with the schoolwork, as in like, I don't know, coloring and playing and stuff like that. So like it's not really like hardcore schoolwork like it is now, but still
Yeah.
like bringing them 55 minutes down here just to do that work, and then going 55 minutes home and then making dinner. Like it's like 2 hours a day that like
Yeah.
it was just everybody lost 2 hours a day. And it was
Yep.
just like it just wasn't good for the kids. It wasn't good for anybody really. So now they just stay here, homeschool, and I'm just the one that travels. So
Yeah. That's quite the drive, especially when they're young like that too.
yeah, yeah, we're our shop is up for sale. I put it up for sale because I don't really want to be down in that area. So I put it up for sale, and I debating like I kind of want to put a shop like so we're gonna sell the shop and the property, like the shop and our house, and go buy one big piece of property. And I
Yeah.
think I want my shop on that property, but I'm not quite sure because like I've gotten pretty good about leaving stuff at work versus
Hmm.
like break taking it home. But like when you can see like the work you have to do through your window, like I feel like that might be a problem. So I might have to like put a tree line up or put it in a spot where I can't see it. Like there,
The opposite end of the property.
yeah, but no, like really, like there's something like physical about like, or there's something psychological about physically leaving and coming back and like to something else, like getting in your truck and driving there, even if it's just like 30 seconds down a dirt road, or like
Yeah.
or even 5 minutes down the road. Like there's that removal that I think I think I want that, but then I'm also like annoyed when I'm like, oh, I need this tool and it's at the shop. Like I swear to you, like every time I need a tool, it's at the shop. Or I'm at the shop, I'm like, shoot, I had that at the house and I forgot to grab it this morning. Like it's always
Oh yeah.
something. So
Yep.
like that's why my service truck is so outfitted well, because I just drive my service truck. So I have almost everything I need right there. And man, I've got duplicates of every tool multiple times over, and it's stupid, and it's annoying, but like whatever. Like I just look at all this money I
Sometimes you
spent.
have to.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm trying to get away from doing that and just make it so that like, okay, I need this tool. Let's hop on the golf cart or the four wheeler. Let's go get it and then come back.
Yeah.
It'll take me like 5 minutes. Like no big deal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Back to the service truck. That's how exactly we have double the tools and everything. The shop has a set and the truck
Hmm.
does. And it drives me nuts when we pull something out of the truck at the shop to do something and then it doesn't go back in. And you
Oh,
get to a job site and you're like, I had that in here. Did that get put back in? Nope.
nope.
And you're like, are you kidding me?
No, like
So,
like in our handbook, the number one rule of the shop is you do not take anything off the truck. No,
yeah.
like I have like the reason why I have redundant tools is because we had two service trucks at once, and we had something for the shop. So like we'd have three Milwaukee circular saws, like metal circular saws, three Milwaukee bandsaws. Like
Yep.
I don't provide any battery power tools for any of the trucks. Like we have a basic list of hand tools that all our guys have to have, and anything battery powered you have to buy. But I will buy it the exact same thing in corded. So like impact guns, we have like three impact guns because like we keep one in the shop and one on each truck. Um,
Yep.
impact sockets, same deal, Um, but we got rid of one of the trucks. So I had like a whole giant pallet I just went through like a couple weeks ago of like all the tools. I'm like, I refound all these tools I forgot I had for like 2 years since we got rid of the service truck like 2 years ago. So they all made their way back into the shop. And now I have like double of everything in the shop, plus what's on my truck, plus what I have at my house. And I'm just like, how many thousands and tens of thousands of dollars I spent on tools that are just completely redundant at this point in my life?
Yep.
Like, but
That's how we are the same way with the drills and impacts, the battery powered ones. It seems like I got doubles everywhere.
but you can never find them when you need them.
Or the batteries are dead.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No.
Oh man. So with being in business for about 7, 8 years, what are some of the hard financial lessons you've learned in business?
um how to manage everything, how to keep that cash flow,
Mm,
you know, consistent. Uh,
okay.
like I said, we don't have we don't have any debt. We've never taken loans out. We don't have credit cards that we put stuff on. So we pay everything cash for the most part. And there's probably pros and cons to that. But that's been our hardest one is, one of our jobs that we have going right now is all 316 stainless pipe and fittings and flanges, and that stuff's not cheap. And, the customer doesn't want to pay, right away. So, we got to eat that for a while. And so we front all this money for these parts, and we might not see that money for 60, 90 days to come back in. And we still have to do, payroll and insurance and all the stuff that goes along with it. So being able to manage, that cash flow, staying consistent has been something that's been really hard to learn.
Do you offer a discount for any like early payment?
That is something we've started to consider. I was talking to a couple other people. Like I said, I bit off more than I can chew, trying to talk to people, finding out how did they do stuff. And a couple of them said that exact same thing. Why do you offer a 2% discount if you pay within 10 days? And some of these larger companies, they're forced to take that, especially on some of these jobs, that's a big 2% on some of these jobs, a big percentage.
Yeah. But 2% on a big job where it matters on, right? To not sit on that money is pretty nice. Like I've tried that. It didn't really, like my customers didn't really care. Like we don't offer something like, I think maybe one time somebody actually took up the offer of a 2% discount. Other than that, it was still like 30, 45 days. And it's like, we'll just get rid of this altogether,
Yeah.
Because it messes up my accounting on the backside of things. Because then I have to change the invoice and everything like that. Because they only sent this much money. So like it really wasn't worth it for us.
Yeah. I haven't implemented it. And we've had talks about it, but we haven't formally set anything up. But that is a concern is, then we're going to have to go and change everything, back on the books we gave him a discount for this and a discount for that. And so we'll see how it goes. We kind of just figuring it out, I guess.
Just figuring it out.
Yeah.
So like obviously you're on a podcast right now, but like, so what are some of the books or podcasts or shows that really influence your business journey throughout this thing?
I don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts, but the ones I do, I really like Andy Frisella. He's got a podcast called Real AF, and I like that he's blunt, and he just kind of, hey, you have to do it like this, and it needs to be like this, and there's no guessing, and that kind of his motivational speech is kind of like, yep, I can do this.
Yeah.
So, and then listen to other people's journeys, like listen to your guys' podcast. You hear some people that, started out the exact same way and now they're doing, extremely well. You're like, man, I can do this. So it's just that, and then I guess for podcasts, I mean, not a whole lot of them.
Yeah. Okay. What are your professional goals for the next couple of years with with Jensen Specialty Welding?
Well, to not fail.
I think that's everybody's.
Yeah. That's been the driving force behind it all always, is just not failing. It's not the success, it's not the money. It's just like, man, I got to keep doing this because I have to do it for my family. So, I like where we're at. We've gone up and had like 7 people working for us. It just seems like you lose a little bit of the quality and control over it. So, we had some rejections at that point, and I couldn't stand that. It drove me nuts. So, we drop it back down, and I think maybe have a couple more people, maybe 1 or 2 more people, somebody that could be, that's better at business than I am, maybe running some of the estimating and that communication with customers, so that I can kind of oversee everything, but not have to do everything. I can step away and I can go weld, and I know that stuff is still maybe getting done in the office, because when I leave the office, nothing gets done.
Yeah.
So, and then I got customers calling and stuff. So maybe just make it a little bit more efficient in that aspect. Just maybe not I mean, not to be too, I don't want to be too big. Right, couple more people, 5 people maybe
Yeah.
would be right around there. Something that's sustainable.
So, what's the worst piece of business advice that you've gotten?
Worst piece of business advice. Um, that I stick my neck out too far. You need to stop sticking your neck out so far and on these risky projects. I feel like I've succeeded on all of those. So, you know, that's kind of would be the worst piece of advice is don't go to above and beyond. Like, well,
Yeah, gotcha.
I think in order to succeed, you have to stick your neck out there sometimes and kind of pray.
Pray it works.
Yep.
If you were to do it all over again, what would you change?
I think I might take bigger risks and go after some of the bigger projects maybe that I wouldn't necessarily have thought I would have.
Yeah.
There's been projects we've turned down that we didn't know how to man. So, had I go back and redo it, I probably would have figured it out, hired, maybe a subcontractor or work alongside of another company, which, it was never a thought at that time.
Do you do that now? Do you work along other companies and team up on jobs, or is it just
occasionally? It's far and few between. What we mainly would do is just hire rig welders. Like if we get a big project, I don't have enough people to do it. I just hire independent rig welders to come do it. So I don't know if they're necessarily considered their own companies, but they, we pay them as if it was.
Yeah, gotcha. How do the rig welders work out for you?
They're great.
Okay.
When they're available, they're always busy and in different spots, so they can always help. So then you're kind of scrambling, but they're good. I enjoy working alongside of them.
Do you have like a roster of guys that you go to, or do you just put like how do you go about getting rig welders to just hop onto a job with you?
I got a handful of people that I've known over the years that, hey, I got this coming up, and I put it out in the air, and they go, hey, yeah, I'll be here, or no, I'm going to be in Colorado, or I'm in Tennessee this week, and I'll be back on this day, so we kind of try and schedule that. Or they just reach out, hey, do you got anything coming up that we can put on the schedule? So we kind of just, keep communication going, and it seems to work out.
Yeah. What's something that you learned the hard way?
Something that I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Is maybe getting too comfortable with employees, like more as, friends that, and then when they work, then they kind of get that relationship with you. We had, I've had one friend that kind of worked with us that, I asked him to do something and he did it a different way. And then we kind of got into it pretty hard over it. And it was like, you know what? I paid you to do it this way. So, and he's like, well, that's it. I don't want to do it that way. And you're like, okay. So, I mean, we still talk and stuff, but it's not like it was, I paid you up front to do this.
Yeah.
And you didn't do what I asked you to do. And then he just kind of lost it. So,
wow.
Keeping that friend and family relationship, your friend and employee relationship, because you can't get too far into it.
Sure. Now, is it a standard practice to pay guys up front for work like that, or is it just like an exception that you made?
That was an exception I made.
Oh, okay. So that was a hard lesson.
Yeah, exactly. So that one. We won't do that one again.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever paid somebody up front to do something.
Yeah, they fell on some hard times. So
yeah,
it's like, hey, here you go. No, I want you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was on a personal project. It wasn't necessarily for like work either.
Okay.
So I paid him up front. Hey, I want you to do this. And he just he did it, but it was just not exactly what we were looking for.
Gotcha. Now, like, is there so I am not familiar at all with like pipe welding, like the whole pipe welding industry. Is there like standard operating procedures that you have or like could implement in your business? Because like for us, like we do architectural and structural, like stairs and rails. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of standard operating procedures we put into place. But like would that apply to something like in the industry that you're in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, things got to be set up just perfect
Hmm.
every time because these assemblies have to come out. We have everything X-rayed, so all of our prep and takeoffs and everything has to be just precise. Our bevels on the pipe has to be right. So we clean up all the pipe bevels have to be a certain size, uh, certain land on them.
Hmm.
Our gaps in between has to be certain because we know that the pipes are going to shrink. So we have to keep them you know keep that in consideration when we go to put all this stuff together.
Yeah.
And then you have so many welds. There might be, one pipe assembly we does has 34 welds in one assembly, and it shrinks and pulls and does all this. So we keep everything, precise. Hey, this is how we do it. You put this size bevel on it. This is the gap that you put in this area. You weld this one first, and then you can weld this one. You quarter the pipe. So when you weld on one side, you go to the opposite side. You weld that so it pulls it back.
Hmm.
And you always so we have all these SOPs that kind of states that this is how we do it.
Do you build those SOPs or do those come with where those SOPs come from?
We implement them, we build them, and
Okay.
we figure out how we're going to do it. We get like a print and say, depends on what we're doing. If we're doing like a gas pipe or something on a building, obviously it's like, okay, that needs to go from here to there. We still know how to do all of our prep and what we need to do in order to
Hmm.
take our when we do our measurements and our layout. But the pipe drawings that we get in the shop, we build them and we just kind of, hey, this is where we're going to do this. This is goes here. This does that. This is the bevel, and this is the welds we're doing first. So we kind of do it on each assembly
Interesting.
as we go.
Now, how much does a weld usually shrink on pipe? Like does it like how do you calculate in that shrinkage of the pipe?
It's going to shrink, and it depends on the thickness of the pipe,
Hmm.
whether it's schedule 10, schedule 40. It depends on how much heat you put into it. So it varies, but you can get it to shrink, a significant amount. Like, it'll shrink a 16th of an inch, no problem.
Yeah. So how
So
so how do you build that into your SOPs? Is it just your knowledge of pipe welding and say, okay, we're gonna cut this, it's got two joints in it, we're gonna cut it an eighth inch longer to account for like is that all just your knowledge or like is there like a standard that you go by or like how does that work?
I think everybody does it a little differently. Everyone has their own process, if
Mm,
you will. So the way we do it is we know we're going to gap it. Like we put 3 30-second gaps, on a 2 inch weld, 2 inch schedule 40 weld. We'll put a 3 30-second gap in there, and we know that it's going to shrink, you know, a 16th or so. So
okay.
we kind of adjust from there. Um, and every pipe is different, it seems like. And then every welder, some welders like to weld hot, so we kind of on the ones in the shop we kind of adjust, if you will, accordingly. So we'll do a weld and then we'll measure, you know, this again. Okay, this is going to be too long. We got to cut that, and then it's always on the first one. After that, then we kind of assess how we're going to go about it.
Mm,
Going, if that
okay.
makes sense. I mean, it was a little.
Kind of. So like walk me so pretend like I've never done any piping assemblies, which I haven't. Do I so like walk like do you build them on a fixture table? Do you just build them on pipe stands and use tape measures? Like how do you so I imagine these flanges have to fit up like perfectly into, the system that they're going in. Is there any wiggle room? How do you deal for expansion and contraction of things? Like walk me through like if you were to give me a quick summary of how you fabricate a piping system, like what are the important things and like the things that I wouldn't know to look for coming in there as a new guy?
Uh, okay. A lot of assemblies are all done center lines. So you have to do everything center line measurements.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know the takeoffs of each fitting, what it's going to be, like a 90. So if you get your center lines, you know your takeoffs, that's how you'll get your cuts. And then you cut it there. And then we gap it so that when we obviously get full penetration through it. And then, well, I got to back up.
It's hard to explain it to people, isn't it?
It is. It is hard to explain. Like, you know, to explain it to somebody that's never done it, it's hard because we do it every day. We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But
teach me, Ryan. Teach me.
Yeah. Well,
I'm learning right now. So
so basically, yeah, we build a lot of the stuff on pipe stands. We'll have, you know, a tri stand, and we have pipe stands and levels and digital levels and tape measures, and we use a square and we measure that way. And man, you got me all fumbled up. So we'll build it like that, and we'll put joints on there. And we purge. You got to purge all the stainless pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when we go through it, oh man, you got me messed up on that one.
How long do you like? Is there a how long does it take to purge, like, I don't know, like a 2-inch 20-foot pipe? Like, is there do you measure the percentage of oxygen that's still in there, or
you don't measure it per se? There's calculations that you can do in order to, you know, for like if you're going to do a gas pipe, you're going to do a repair on a gas pipe or something like that. You want all that natural gas out of that pipe. So there's a calculation that you can do in order to figure it out, how long and how many cubic feet you're pushing into it. Okay. But when we're in the shop, what we'll do is, you know, we purge it. We'll let it sit at, you know, 10 for maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and then you can gauge it. Sometimes the guys will grab a lighter and it blows the lighter out. Then you know that there's no oxygen in that pipe. But it purges pretty quick on like a 2-inch 20-foot pipe. You know, it doesn't take very long to do it. So we'll get everything tacked up. We tape all of our joints up. You know, we want to do a bridge tack on it, so when we go to feather them out and cut them out, you know, you don't get the sugaring on the inside of it. Okay. So, and then we tape all of our joints up with the purge tape. It's like a high temperature. I forget exactly what it is, but it's a high temperature tape that can take the heat of the pipe, because when we're welding, it gets hot. Yeah. So obviously it gets hot, but yeah, we don't want if it melts, the tape melts or burns up, you know, you lose that purge on that.
Mm-hmm. Do you so like you know, I understand, like for like a manifold, I imagine everything has to be like spot on, because you have all your flanges in such a tight array. Is it like that? So like if you're building a whole brewing system, okay, is there like any sort of tolerance that you're given? Like, what is there a time where you're able to have a tolerance other than perfect in something like that?
No, perfect's the way it's got to be.
Perfect's the way it's got to be. Okay.
No, yeah, we can deal with certain things, like on some of the pipe, on like our flanges, we use they're called 2-hole pins. You put it in, that's how you align your flanges, get the holes right, so that you know that the next time you bolt something up to it, it's going to be the same orientation. Yeah. And we try to keep everything, you know, as obviously as close as we can, but using levels and without going into too much, you know, detail. You know, we can use like a digital level, and we try and keep it within, you know, half a degree. Half a degree is pushing it for us. So, wow. Okay. Because you want, when they go to put it together, you don't know how the next piece is going to go. It might be off, and it, you know, everything compounds. Yeah. So we try to keep it as tight as possible. But it's visually, it's got to look good too. So, you know, if it might say it's perfect, but if everything else in that room is not perfect, yeah, and you look at it and your pipe is the one thing that stands out, you kind of got to match the room. Mm-hmm. I guess on certain you know situations, especially like in the breweries. because
Yeah.
not everything's perfect level. And, you know, if yours is perfectly level and nothing else is, it stands out.
Do you guys polish all your stuff in house, or do you got do you guys deal with? I imagine with the brewery you deal with quite a bit of polish, like stainless.
Yeah, it's
Do
sanitary and it's
yeah,
all polished on the inside. We'll buy it from the factory already
you
done. And
buy it
then
like
we
that?
clean up our welds. And then after we weld it, it gets cleaned and it gets passivated.
Hmm.
They'll passivate the welds and stuff. So it takes all the impurities. And
Nice. Well, I think I'm ready to go start welding some pipe then.
I don't, I don't know if that's a good idea, but I didn't do a very good job explaining how to do it. So
All good, man.
it's funny. Like that got me just kind of
No,
flustered, I guess.
well, no, it's really hard to explain like via not being there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Without
figured,
having to physically show you like, hey, this is what we're looking for and stuff like that. And
yeah.
it's funny that you're like, teach me is recently, like maybe 2 years ago, I got asked, me and another guy got asked to teach at one of the community colleges out here for the welding program. And so we took that and I'm like, this will be a great time for me to learn how to explain to others how I do stuff.
Mhm.
And then you got me right there and I couldn't explain it. And I was like, wait a second, here's the whole reason. So, and I'm like, that was the whole reason I took that job and did and taught, you know, and so I can explain why I do stuff. I know why I do stuff.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
why you do what you're doing, but
Yeah.
being able to relay that to somebody that has no idea, it's difficult. And
No, I totally put you on the spot with that one.
I was like, oh man. So
I mean,
there's a lot that goes into it.
I've talked to other guys who do pipe welding, but I've never just thrown somebody under the bus like I did you. So I appreciate you.
Sorry about that.
Well, no, man, I appreciate it. Well, as we land this, tell me one thing that you wish you knew before you started out.
How difficult and how long hours you're going to have, how many long hours you're going to have, and how stressful it actually is. You know, that waking up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning going, I don't know how I'm going to accomplish this. And I don't know how we're going to complete this. It's just something people don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they do, but that wasn't one of the things that I ever thought about. Had I known that, I don't know if it would have deterred me, but yeah, that's something that.
Yeah, the juggling of expectations from other people. You know,
Yes.
it's like okay, I overpromised. I can't deliver on this. Who am I going to piss off in order to make this happen?
Yeah, and that seems to happen, and that's the hardest part is you don't want to piss them off. You don't want to be late, but yeah, overpromising is definitely a huge thing.
Yeah,
because sometimes you feel like if you don't overpromise, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose that project or something like that. So you say you try to make them happy, but then at the end, if you're not on time, then you're not making them happy.
Yeah. Pleasing your customers, it's really hard. It really is.
Yeah. And then when you overpromise, stop pissing your guys off.
Yep.
They're looking at you like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
You're like,
this
sorry.
is not realistic.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like this timeline is not realistic. You're like, well, we got to figure it out. And they're like, so
make it happen.
You know, yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
No barbecue really this week.
Yeah. Come on, guys, get going.
Awesome.
What do you mean you have a life and you want to go to the desert for the weekend?
No.
I promised you're going to get this done.
You got to work.
Yeah. So.
Well, awesome, Ryan. I appreciate you taking the time, man. This has been
absolutely.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for having us on, and I had enjoyed it. It's the first podcast we've done, or I've done.
Cool, man. Well, stay on afterwards because I'm gonna need you to your stuff to be finished uploading. So,
okay.
Brian, man, it's been great, man. I appreciate you coming on, and let's catch up again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for the conversation.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good.